Welcome to the Jill on Money Call of the Week. Remember, you got a couple chances every week to get on the air. On Tuesdays, we like to drop this call, and then we put a call in right after our longer show on Thursdays. If you want to reach us, it's very easy. Send an email. Ask Jill at JillOnMoney.com. Ask Jill at JillOnMoney.com. That's what Russ did. What can we do for you?
Hi, Jill. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Basically, it's kind of a two-part question. I want to know, from your perspective, how do you run the numbers, particularly when you have I guess, kind of an unconventional situation? I know everybody's situation is different. And then when you've run the numbers and decided, okay, I'm ready to do this retirement thing, and I'm specifically asking about early retirement, how do you know when the train has kind of come off the rails? I don't see a lot of info about that.
Yeah,
outside.
you want to hear like the disaster stories, like, I retired early and now this is a problem. I have plenty of those, don't worry. So, Russ, how old are you?
43.
And are you married or single?
Married.
Okay. Spouse is how old?
She's 41.
Okay, got it. You guys both working now?
Nope, I'm the breadwinner.
Okay. How much do you make?
200.
Okay. Kids?
We have a 2-year-old.
Oh,
That's her
boy.
full-time job.
That is a full-time job. And by the way, I don't think the pay is so great.
No.
Although maybe pay back, like, down the line, the nourishment, the emotional wins that you get. Okay. So how much do you figure when you're looking at running numbers? And I'm really kind of interested to find out how much you think you need to live on in general.
So that's always a good question, and we're trying to be conservative and go with just $100,000. We feel like even if we had to tighten our belts, that leaves plenty of room to do so. So
Okay.
if you're targeting 100, you're safe.
Let's talk about some of these calculators and what happens here. The issue is that there are so many variables, especially if you're trying to retire early, that it's very difficult to get these things synced up, right? What most calculators start with is just a series of questions. I'm sure you've gone on these various different ones. Essentially, it's sort of saying, how much do you need to accumulate to generate this $100,000 a year? When you think about retirement early, what does early mean to you? As soon as possible, or is there some year in mind that you have?
I would like to be retired before 50.
Okay, so let's say 50, because I like even
Nice
numbers.
round number.
Yes, exactly. Tell me how much money you have so far saved up.
We have a pile of different Roth accounts, total about 200, and a pile of different pre-tax, mostly 401k, that totals about 700. And we've got a pile of after-tax that is in the neighborhood of 400. And I am lucky enough to work for an employer that has a pension, and the vested pension value is 200, 250. It does adjust a lot with interest rates. So as rates come up, that's going to shrink dramatically. But as I keep working, it might go up.
So the pension that you're talking about, let's say it's age 50, you have enough time in other words, your years served would qualify you to tap that, or would there be some limitations on it?
No, I could tap it. It's just going to be, it'll be prorated based on your life expectancy.
Sure.
Taking it at 50 instead of, 65 like it's planned.
Okay. And on the 50 number, can you play around and see what, like when you say the vested, the 200 to 250, that's a cash balance. But would you be able to create a stream of income from that at age 50, or would they force you to take the cash balance?
No, it's you can definitely take it as a payout, and it's currently in the neighborhood of like $1,200.
That's pretty good, I have to say. Is it a company that is solvent and good? And the one problem with a pension is, of course, that the pension's only as good as the organization that's underlying it, right? So you feel comfortable in that?
Yes, the company feels very solvent. The pension is actually mostly funded. It's not at 100%, but it's I think it's north of 75%
That's great.
funded.
Okay, that's really good. Because that may be something that I think would probably be important if you can have a stream of income that is created before the whole Social Security scenario kicks in. It might be nice for you guys just to have some money coming in. I know that everybody loves to take the lump sum. I'm just not a huge, I don't always go that way. I would want someone to help you run the numbers. Okay. So
Okay.
we're going to work for 7 more years. Tell me, how much are you saving? Like, you got a bunch of money. You got more than $1 million. So, but do you feel like you're putting away a certain amount of money every year that's going to add to that?
So the answer is yes, we are putting away maximums. So 401k maxing out, and we do get a match. And on top of that, I'm then putting in after tax to get to the IRS maximum.
You're very good. You're a very good man. But you don't get to put in that extra because, see, if you work past 50, then you can put in the extra $6,000 as the catch up. All right, so you're putting
Correct.
in 20 something thousand a year approximately with the match. Is that fair?
With the match, no, it's closer to like 35.
Okay, great.
And then the
Fantastic.
after tax, we're taking that up to 50, I think 55, 56, something like that.
Okay, that's pretty awesome. So 7 years with 50, so you're going to put another 400. I'm just doing quick math here. So 1.7 and
There's one additional
tell me.
asset.
Do tell
that
me.
You mentioned the liking streams of income.
Yes.
I do, which is why I got into rental properties.
Ah.
We have 2 rental properties. One has a mortgage, one doesn't. We paid it off, and so between the 2 of them, they cash flow probably $25,000 a year after the net of all costs, and that's someone else managing them for us.
So what's kind of cool here is that if between the pension and the rental properties, you get like sort of you get a third of what your need is, right? About, okay?
Yep.
And so now what you're telling me is, hey, I'll make it up. Let's say you have a terrible 7 years in the market, but you're putting in $400,000, and the money will grow by something. So I don't know. I'm going to guess that let me guess low, 2.3 million. I think that's probably a fair number to say by the time you retire at 50. Now the thing is, we don't really want you to take money out of the 401k, so it's really the after tax that we have to be concerned with, right? You're close. I mean, this could almost work in an insane way. Will the second rental property be paid off, that mortgage, by the time you're 50?
Weren't planning to. It's a nice low rate, and
Yeah.
I'm feeling like rates can only go up.
Yeah.
So we didn't have a plan to aggressively pay it down.
Okay.
Obviously, the money would be there if we wanted to.
Yeah. No, I'm just wondering because I'm sort of looking at it and saying that you're pretty close. So here's what I would say. Yes, everything is a crapshoot on this because there are so many variables. So when I run the numbers very quickly, and I can kind of do this, you say, okay, at 50, I can pretty much do it. Now, how do I know that I'm going off the rails? One of the ways you know you're going off the rails is if all of a sudden you are approaching 50 and you don't quit first. You approaching 50 and you say, oh crap, we actually need more money. 100's not going to do it. 150 is going to do it now. In this next 7 years, you have to rerun these numbers pretty much every year and factor everything in. And that could mean that, like, hey, I have a 2-year-old who needs blank. I don't know what it is. So one way it goes off the rails is you spend more money than you assume. Second way you go off the rails is if all of a sudden, the moment, you're 49 and a half, and all of a sudden we go into a horrible, prolonged, really bad bear market. And yes, you do have the $2 million or $2.3 million, but that you don't want to actually be forced to pull money out. Some of that money that is in the after-tax account really has to be very safe because you don't want to be forced to pull money out of an account when markets are down. And the third thing that can happen is that you think you hate your job and you think you want to get out, and then you get out and you say, oh my God, I'm going to pull my hair out. This is horrible. And, my 12-year-old kid is like in puberty and doesn't want to talk to me. So what was I thinking anyway? And now you try to get back into the labor market and you kind of age yourself out. So there are a lot of moving pieces to this. I think you're pretty close. There are a lot of free calculators that are interesting. I think that there is one that is a paid calculator that I like very much, which is called ES Planner. There's a number of different calculators that they have. They have like a basic, they have this and the other thing, but it is actually worth a couple $100 to play with this because I think this is one of the best calculators that's out there, and they actually have people who can help you out. Now, the other part of this is you might say, you know what? I don't want to do this on my own. I want to pay a real fee-only advisor, an hourly rate. I want to give this person $2,000 to like basically run these numbers and then retest them every year as I get closer and closer. And that may be another way to do it. Like I said, I think you're close. And look, you could have an upside surprise. You really could. You could be like, whoa, I'm basing this on $200,000 a year. But in the next 7 years, what I find is that actually I'm making $250 and I'm putting more money away. Or my wife is really loved raising this kid. But when the kid went to school, she decided she wants to go back to work. Whatever. I don't know what those variables might be, but I think those are your basic choices. I think you are very close, though. I really do. And it makes me nuts thinking about that because I'm over 50 and I can't imagine retiring, but I love what I do. So if you hate what you do and you're looking for a way out, you're getting pretty close, and I think that you might be able to do this.
Okay.
You feel okay?
Really good to hear.
Yeah. I think you're good. I think you're in better shape than you think you are. How about that?
Okay, that's reassuring, and I will definitely look into ES Planner. And I should add, I don't hate my job. I just wish I didn't have to go every day, and I don't love everything about it. Who does?
Here's the funny thing about this. I would say that what's totally great about even I love the whole FIRE movement, and I've talked about this before. I love the idea that people are saving to put themselves in a place to have better choices. So, for example, if in 7 years you kind of know, like, hey, I could do it, I could leave any time. You could then go into a boss and say, hey, you know what? I really feel good about where I am, but I got a young kid and I really like to spend time. And, maybe there's a way to customize what you're doing and have a different work arrangement so that you work a little bit less. I think that would be kind of a cool position to be in. And if your boss is like, no way, pound, get out of here. Okay, fine. You know what I mean? So you would be in a great situation to be able to ask. And that's what I think is a great thing about financial independence. And whether you decide to retire early or not, that's up to you. But I think that you got some information. And if you come back and you think that ES Planner is, gives you one thing or you're short or whatever, you can call us back and we can talk through. But again, you can always hire someone one-on-one. But I think that ES Planner is like your next step to start figuring this out.
Perfect.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you very much for your time.
Go save your money, will you?
Will do.
Take care. Good luck. That's it for the bonus call of the week. If you'd like to get on the air with us, just send us an email. Ask Jill at JillOnMoney.com. We'll arrange to get you on. Talk to you next time.